Telling someone to quit social media is like telling an addict to stop taking drugs. It's very dismissive and quite frankly unhelpful. Social media addiction is a real thing, just the way drug addiction is. And in order for us to solve the issue of you always doom scrolling on social media, we have to get to the root of the problem, which is we first of all have to analyze the anatomy of addiction. What is addiction and how does this even come to be? Why do you get addicted to something? And that brings us to section 1. Why are you addicted to social media? The thing you need to know is social media by design is built to be addictive. The people that built these apps had you in mind while they were building it, and they want you to be addicted. Therefore, they did everything they could in order to make sure that once you get into these apps, you get addicted quickly. It's just like taking drugs. People who take drugs don't set out trying to be addicts, but then there's something inside the drugs that is addictive, that the moment you test that drug, you're sort of hooked. That's how social media is built as well. The one thing that gets you addicted to anything is dopamine, and that dopamine was top on the list while they were building these apps. Every single scroll is meant to be like a dopamine hit, and the thing about dopamine is the more you have it, the more you want to have it. The same way it happens with drug addicts. The more you have something, the more you want to have that. That's why on social media, when you're scrolling, you see that the more you scroll, like the more you want to scroll, you can't seem to stop, because that's your brain reacting to the dopamine hits that you're getting, and therefore it wants more. But by design, your brain is only supposed to release dopamine when you do something rewarding. Like, if you accomplish something, you're supposed to get that dopamine hit, to get you to feel good. Dopamine is the feel good hormone. So if you do something good, it's meant to be released in order for you to feel good for accomplishing that goal. But what social media does is that it manipulates your brain to release like small hits of dopamine here and there. The more you scroll and you see people achieving something, or like you even find something, like even see something that you like, your brain releases that hormone to make you feel good, and that is why you want more of it. All I'm trying to say is that urge that you have randomly to just pick up your phone and start scrolling, it's not because you lack discipline or you are lazy. It's because by design you have been conditioned to do that exact thing that you're doing. And that brings us to section 2. How do you know that you're addicted? The telltale sign that you're addicted to social media is you pick up your phone for no good reason. You just have this urge to pick up your phone and just start scrolling. That's a telltale sign that you're addicted to social media. The next sign is you feel bored or restless when you're not with your phone. Like there's nothing to be done on the phone, but the fact that you're not scrolling on it makes you feel bored and restless, like there's something going on, or you feel like you're missing out on something even though you're not. The next one is you see yourself scrolling on social media even though you have better things to do. Like you now start procrastinating the things you're supposed to do in your real life because you just want to doom scroll. The next one is very subtle, but this happens to most people, and that is you start comparing your life to other people because social media has distorted your reality, and now you see yourself comparing your everyday life to the things you see online. The last sign and the most dangerous of all is you start losing track of time. You go online to scroll for like 5 minutes, and before you know it, you've scrolled for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or you look at your screen time and you're averaging like 10 hours a day just on social media alone. If you have 2 or 3 of these things I just mentioned, it's a telltale sign that you're addicted to social media. But don't panic, we can still fix that. Which brings us to section 3, how to stop doom scrolling. Personally, I believe that in order for you to fix any problem, you have to actually believe that you have that problem. Have you ever seen a drug addict? What's the first thing they say to you? No, I'm not addicted to this thing. I can stop anytime I want. That's one thing about addictions, that people feel like they can stop at any time, but for some reason, it's been years and they have not stopped yet. But something tells them, oh, I can still stop anytime I want to stop. But that's not the truth. And that's why I say, in order for you to get help with this social media addiction of a thing, you have to acknowledge the fact that you have a problem. So tell yourself, I have a problem with social media, I have a problem with doom scrolling, and I need to fix it. Stop telling yourself that I can stop at any time I want, or I'm not addicted, because the more you deny something, the less likely you are to get help for it. Solution number 1, make it very hard to assess. I'm a registered nurse, and one thing about addiction is when you are treating someone that has an addiction to something, we have to do something called an isolation. You have to isolate them in such a way that they have no access to that drug or whatever substance you're taking, because it's no use trying to help a drug addict if they still have access to that drug. They're just going to go back to it. It's an addiction for a reason. They can't help but go back to it. So you have to find a way to make it very hard for them to access that drug, which is why you see them going to rehab units. You don't do rehab in your house, you do it in a place where they're able to monitor you and make sure that you have no access to drugs. When it comes to social media, we actually cannot do it that way. But then there is some way you can make it harder for you to access. You can make these apps hard for you to access. The first thing you have to do is, you have 2 options when it comes to making these apps hard to get. The first one is getting a flip phone. Yes, get a phone that has no access to internet. Not everyone might like that option, which is why I'll go to solution number 2. Take all the apps off your home screen. Every single app that you're addicted to, take it off your home screen. Make it very hard in order for you to access those apps, because the reason why it's easy for you to doom scroll is that it's at your fingertip. Once you pick up your phone, the app is there for you to scroll. So find a way to take it off your home screen so it's hard for you to access. Does that make sense? The other way for you to make it very hard for you to access these apps is log off your account. For instance, if you're addicted to Facebook, or let's say TikTok or Instagram, anytime you're done scrolling, I want you to log off that app. It makes it very inconvenient for you to log in the next time. Therefore, it sort of creates friction in the way, and that gives you like ample opportunity to stop at any point and not go ahead with the scrolling, because now you have to log in order for you to scroll. The other way to make it very hard for you to access is, and this is something that helped me greatly, is turn off every single notification. When it comes to my phone, guys, can you all see my phone? I have not even a single notification. Like if like my favorite creator posted something on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, I have no way of knowing that. Like I don't care, honestly. I have no way of seeing that. Therefore, there is no urge for me to like, scroll every time to go see what they posted. Yeah. So I only see those things when I log into the app to see them. Notifications are by design built to draw you in. So anytime you see that, it's like you feel like, you have this fear of FOMO, like you're missing out on something, like, oh, I need to go check it out right now. So take notifications off your phone, like go to your settings and turn off notification for social media. Turn the notifications off, and that will help make it very hard for you to access. Everything I've mentioned so far is trying to create friction, because addiction thrives on convenience. If something is convenient for you to do, you just do it. But then if there's like a lot of roadblocks on the way and there's a lot of friction, it sort of gives you opportunity at any point to stop and say like, do I really want to scroll? Like, do I really have to go through this stress to get to this thing? Is it actually worth it? And then before you know it, that sort of helps you, start regulating yourself and your emotions. The next one is the 15-minute rule. I want you to tell yourself, I'm going to scroll for 15 minutes only, and once that timer is up, I'm going to log off this app right away. Just say that and build discipline around that. Why people always go back is that they quit cold turkey. Like, you go from scrolling like 10 hours a day and then you suddenly don't scroll at all. In some sense, I feel like that's why people crash. So what I recommend is you can still scroll, but try to minimize the time that you spend there and give yourself a time slot. The way you have time for, taking your shower, or you have time for eating or for cooking and all that, the way you allocate time for things. I want you to allocate like 15 minutes to scrolling on social media and tell yourself, the moment this time is up, I am logging off this app, and stick to that. Make it non-negotiable that the moment your timer goes off, you must log off the app. Like, there's no negotiation like 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, because before you know what, you spend 3 hours scrolling online. Set a timer, and once it's up, log off your account. The next solution is you need to replace, not remove. Like I said earlier, I believe that why people struggle to stay off social media is that when they quit cold turkey, they always come back, because what they did is they removed something, but there was no replacement. Remember that social media addiction is still an addiction. Your brain is addicted to this thing. Your brain wants to do that thing. So in order for you to distract your brain from seeking that thing or wanting that thing, you have to find a way to replace what that thing used to do before. Find a way to replace the time slot you used to allocate to that thing. How do you do that? Pick up hobbies that don't revolve around your phone. Pick up reading. You don't need the phone to read. You have a Kindle. Say for instance, I made a video some time ago where I showed like some hobbies that I picked up, and for me, I got this Kindle for reading, and I have my books. I have my physical books as well, as you can see. So you need to find hobbies that replace the thing that social media used to do for you. That dopamine hit that you used to give you in the past, you need something that gives you that dopamine hit, but in a very healthy manner or in a very healthy way. So you can pick up hobbies like reading or walking or journaling or whatever. I'm going to try and tag that video somewhere here so that you can go watch that video and figure out some hobbies that could help you with this scrolling thing. You need to learn a new skill. Your brain needs that stimulation because it's already used to being overstimulated. So you need to do something that stimulates your brain instead of quitting cold turkey, because then you're bound to crash because your brain wants something. So find something and give it. The next one is delete one app at a time. Don't go cold turkey. Don't go very extreme and delete every single thing at once. I want you to start by deleting your most addictive app. The one you're most addicted to, delete that one first. Let's say for instance you're addicted to Facebook, you're addicted to TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. But the one you're most addicted to is TikTok, like it is for most people. I want you to start by deleting TikTok and focus on others. The moment your brain starts getting used to the fact that you don't go on TikTok anymore, delete the next most addictive one, which might be like, let's say Instagram. Delete Instagram. And that's how you're going to keep going until you go down to the least most addictive one. And for me, at some point, I did that until I got to the least most addictive one, which was what? Reddit. I scroll a little bit on Reddit and then I leave because I'm not addicted to Reddit the way I was to TikTok. Does that make sense? The moment you delete these apps, try and stay off it. Don't go back and re-download them again. The moment you delete that most addictive app, stay off it. Once you delete it, don't go back. Just like what we say to drug addicts when they go to rehab, try not to relapse. Don't go back to that drug. Like, you've come this far, try not to go back to that drug. So I'll say that same thing to you. You've come this far, try not to go back to that drug. The next thing is no phones in the morning. The actions you take the moment you wake up actually determines how your day goes. You know that the way you start your day determines how the day will go. So I want you to make it a habit of not picking your phone up the moment you wake up. Find a way to make that very inconvenient for you to even do. Say for instance, if you're the type to leave like your phone on the bedside table when you go to sleep, leave it somewhere inconvenient, wherever that is for you. Don't let your phone be the first thing you see when you wake up in the morning. If you're the type to use your phone for alarm clocks, buy an alarm clock. Whatever it is that makes you pick up your phone first thing in the morning, I want you to find a way to do away with that thing. For me, at some point, I use my phone for reading my Bible, but then the truth is, the moment I pick up my phone, I don't go straight to the Bible. I first of all start scrolling on other apps, and then eventually I'm like, oh, let me go read the Bible, and then I spend like 5 minutes, and then I'm off. But now I bought a physical Bible, so like I can't give myself that excuse anymore. I don't need to scroll on the phone to read the Bible, like I have a physical Bible. So whatever the case is for you, whatever it is that makes you scroll in the morning, is it because of your alarm, or you want to read the Bible, or you want to read a book? Make it inconvenient. I'm sure they have other things that can help with that, like clocks can help with your alarm, and then you can buy like physical books or physical Bibles and all, or even a Kindle. You can scroll on Kindle, so like buy a Kindle for reading. Whatever it is for you, whatever it is that makes you pick up your phone first thing in the morning, I want you to find a way to avoid doing that now. The next one is a game changer, and that is set a no scroll zones. When it comes to your home, I want you to set zones where you are allowed to scroll and zones where you're not allowed to scroll. Even though you don't actively think about it, your house is actually zoned out. Do you know that? You have a zone where you cook, which is the kitchen. Like all you do in the kitchen is cook. You don't cook in your bedroom because that's not the zone for it. You take a shower in the bathroom, that is the zone for washing, right? You don't take a shower in your living room. Yes, I want you to think of the house as a zone as well. There should be a zone where you're allowed to scroll and a zone where you cannot scroll because it's not meant for scrolling. For instance, you can say, my bedroom is a no scroll zone. I don't scroll in the bedroom. I can scroll in the living room, I can scroll in the kitchen, but I can't scroll in the bedroom. And that will help you so much if you're the type to scroll all night and then go to sleep very late because you're online. The moment you set your bedroom as a no scroll zone, once you get in there, you are not allowed to use your phone in there. Like I said, addiction thrives on convenience. It's very convenient for you to just lay down in bed and scroll all night. Make that a no scroll zone. Wherever you see that it's convenient for you to just stay in and scroll, make that a no scroll zone. The next one is you need a reality check. And how do you do that? You need to start tracking your screen time. Tracking my screen time was a reality check I needed to see how addicted I was to social media. Honestly, I'm even embarrassed to say that at some point I used to have upward of 10 hours, 12 hours a day on social media. And mind you, I'm working. So it's like, where do I get all this time to scroll? And then I'm getting like 3 hours of sleep because all I do all night is just scroll on social media, which doesn't make sense. Your screen time might just be the wake-up call that you need to see how much time you actually waste online doing nothing, just doom scrolling, doing nothing, learning nothing, just watching other people live their life. Start tracking your usage, and you can even do this on the weekend, like every single Saturday or like on Sunday, go on your phone and actually check your screen time, like check how many hours you spent every single day of that week scrolling. That will make you realize how much of your life you're actually wasting just scrolling. Because imagine that you're wasting, like, say 7 hours every day on average, right? Imagine 7 hours a day in a year. Imagine that in 10 years, you have literally wasted years just scrolling. Like a year is wasted, years spent just scrolling on social media. How crazy is that? The next one is make your phone very boring. You need to take advantage of the features of your phone. You can actually turn your phone to a grayscale. Make your phone as boring as you can get it to be. Whatever makes your phone aesthetic or even pleasing or even very convenient for you to pick it up and just start scrolling, remove that thing from your phone. Go on your settings and figure out how to turn on the grayscale for your phone type. The next one is you need to understand your triggers. When it comes to any form of addiction, there is usually a trigger for every addiction. There is no addiction without a form of trigger. There is something that triggers you that makes you want to go back to that addiction, right? So I want you to figure out yours. What is it for you? For some people, it could be when you're bored, or when you're sad, or when you're upset, or even that you're trying to avoid something, or that you feel lonely and then you see yourself picking up the phone to start scrolling. Figure out what your trigger is and learn to work with those triggers, not against them. Say for instance, if your own addiction is triggered by, let's say, boredom, you could find something else to fill up your time, because then you know that the moment I get bored, I feel like scrolling. So find something else to do for the periods that you get bored, right? Or let's say for instance, is triggered by loneliness. Figure out something. Doom scrolling is often linked to emotion and not just a habit. So figure out what that emotion is for you. Are you escaping your life? Like, do you feel like you live a boring life and you scroll to, like, sort of get inspiration or live through others? What is that thing for you? Try to work on the trigger, like, figure out what's triggering it and work on that. The next one is, and I think this is very important, create a life that you don't need to escape from. I think that social media offers us an escape from reality. Just like people that are addicted to drugs, drugs offers you an escape from reality. Yeah, so I believe that why we doom scroll is this is an escape from our reality. It's usually that there's something going on in our life that we're trying to escape from, so we live through others. It's easier to see others enjoying life and you sort of live through them than facing the problem that you have at the moment. Spend time offline and start working on your goals. Whatever it is that you're trying to escape from, I want you to start thinking of what your dream life is like. What is your dream like? What is a life that you don't want to escape from? What is that life like? Is it a place? Is it a person? What is the thing that you don't need to escape from? I want you to start working towards getting that thing so you don't feel the need to use social media as an escape from reality. I believe that the less fulfilling your life is, the more addictive social media becomes for you, because it's all you have nothing. But if your life is very fulfilling, you have no time to see like what other people are doing or even like care about what they're doing. Which brings us to section 4, what to not do when you're trying to quit an addiction. The first thing is, don't quit everything overnight. Don't go cold turkey. You are likely to crash. Like I said, start with the most addictive app and then go down to the least addictive app. Remember, it's taking you months or even years to get addicted to this thing. You can't just stop at once. Your brain is going to seek that stimulation, so find a way to like go gradually at a time until you stop. The next one is, don't rely on your willpower. Don't say, oh, I'm just gonna do it. I need you to set systems in place to make sure that you do these things. Like, don't rely on your brain alone or on your willpower to do it. Try to inculcate the tips I gave you earlier, like make things very inconvenient for you when it comes to using your phone. The next one is, don't shame yourself. I know that when it comes to addiction, we tend to approach addiction from a place of shame. Yes, it's shameful that you have allowed yourself or you have allowed this thing to get to you or to have this much power or control over you. But I want you to kind of reframe the way you see that. You're already addicted, but now you are trying to get yourself off of the claws of that thing. So you're sort of a warrior, not a victim. Does that make sense? Yeah. So see yourself as a warrior who is trying to escape this thing that has been engineered to keep you addicted. Yeah. So I want you to give yourself grace, start gradually. Don't try to do everything all at once, because that's how you lose. Start gradually and work your way up there. I'm going to close this by saying that social media is not good or evil. The goal is to not let it control you. I feel like social media is helpful in some sense, it serves some role at the end of the day, but then the problem is when it now becomes like an addiction and you can't see yourself living without it, or your entire life now revolves around social media and this addiction that you have. So while we might still need social media for things here and there, try to not get addicted to it. Try to not get your dopamine hits from social media. Go out there and find hobbies, build a life that you like, so you don't feel the need to escape that. With that, I'll see you guys in my next one. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the good things, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.